Hello, my friends. I am excited that you are here yet to join me again for another video. But before I dive into today's video, I got a question to ask you. Have you subscribed to my email? Do you get my email? It's called my Sunday Thoughts email that I send out on Sunday evenings. Have you subscribed to that? If you have not, there's going to be in the notes, there'll be a link for you to do that. But also, you can go to my website and subscribe to it there, and that's www.angeladryden.com. That's ANGELADRYDEN.com, and subscribe to my newsletter that I send out every week, just once a week on Sunday evenings. So today's topic I want to share with you. I was having a conversation actually with my sister not too long ago. We were talking about opinionated husbands. Does anybody have that? Maybe opinionated partners that you're with, that they have an opinion that isn't quite your opinion. So we were having the conversation about this, and what I found interesting is kind of something that I've been self-exploring for myself, is when my husband says certain things about stuff and I don't necessarily agree with him. I find it to be that he is complaining, that he's being negative, that he is just not looking at it quite right. Like, if he would just look at it this way, he wouldn't be so angry about this, or it wouldn't bother him so much. But the truth is, when he's sharing these things with me, what really is happening, if I was really just look at it point blank, the words he's just saying what he thinks, his opinion is it. Like, it's just an opinion. If I think that he's being negative, if he's being angry, if he's doing certain things, that's how I interpret what he's saying. That's my decision to see it that way. But in all reality, if he's stating an opinion he has about something, he's just strictly doing that. He is giving me his opinion. And you know what? Sometimes I love his opinion and sometimes I don't. And I'm sure other people feel the same about me, right? When I share an opinion, sometimes they agree with me and sometimes they don't. So this is where I've come up with this video that you are watching today. Now, have you heard the saying? Let me see. We're going to see generational, like where you're at. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. I used to believe that that was the polite thing to do. Did you guys used to believe that too? That this was polite. If I didn't say anything, then that's me being polite. And that was me being a good person. That was me doing the right things. And I want to kind of explore this saying and thoughts behind it. And I want to flip it on us. I want to look and ask a couple of questions when it comes to this thought and flip it a little bit so that maybe we can see it from another perspective. Because the only way I'm going to get better at sharing my voice is using it. Let me repeat that again. Excuse me, a little spit on that one. The only way that we are going to get better at sharing our voice is using it, is asking the questions, is being present with other people. When they are feeling a certain way, you can kind of feel the vibration of what they're feeling at that time. Allow them to feel that, but you be present and not have it affect the way that you feel and how you show up in the conversation. So these are questions I want you to ask yourself about this saying. If you've heard this saying growing up, ask yourself, who is being hurt when I don't say anything? Now, this is kind of what I did when I explored that question with myself. I wrote it down. I said, well, I am, right, because I'm suppressing how I feel. I start to believe that my thoughts, because I said was going to say some words, that was bad. That's a bad person. So then I get on this idea that I always have to be a good person. These were just thoughts that I have about something. That wasn't actually who I am. It's a thought I have about what they said. And now I'm internalizing, judging myself that I'm a bad person for thinking those thoughts when I didn't even say them. I didn't even explore them with myself. I kept it all in because I didn't want to say something that was disagreeable. So just kind of looking at that. So that's kind of one thing I thought, right? Then I start to think that I'm a bad person. And then let's see, my view isn't heard. Okay, my voice isn't heard. So now I don't get to express my voice because I'm not saying anything and I've suppressed it. I now believe that I'm not important. Other people's opinions now are more important than mine. See, because I'm just out there being a nice person. So their opinion's so much more valuable than mine is. Now I'm going to start to believe this. And I'm only believing this because I'm not saying what I want to say. Understand that when I'm feeling this way, where is that feeling coming from? Is it coming from the words that person said, or is it coming from my thoughts that I have about what that person said? And we're going to dive into that here in a second next. I'm going to show you some more things on that as well. So the question is, who is being hurt when I don't say anything? The other question is, what opportunity do we miss out on? Communication, we miss out on connecting, on getting sloppy, on saying the wrong words, on getting better at talking to each other, at connecting actually on a level that isn't superficial, a level that is real with other people. We miss out on finding matches in our life of people that see things similar as us, people that see different than us, but yet we can come to agreements on different things. So we miss those opportunities because we believe that we shouldn't say something if we don't believe it's not nice. We shouldn't say it. And that's where I think there's that crux, and it's weakening us as individuals. And for me, what it did for me is it weakened me, and it created more codependency in my life. That is something that I explored a lot in my videos. If you go back to older videos of mine as well, as I did a whole thing on 12, behavior patterns of codependency, because that is something that I personally explored for myself. And I realized that how much more I was having dependency on other people, and how I was believing that they just need to change. They need to do this. They need to do that. I just had this control freak issue, believing that if my husband had a different opinion than me, just like I talked about at the beginning, right, this conversation, me and my sister were talking about that if they have a different opinion, then they are just being negative. They are being just, they are putting the whole situation down, when in reality, they're just having an opinion, possibly, maybe that's the reality. Maybe that's the way I could perceive it if I want to, as opposed that they're saying something that is wrong to me or hurting me or causing any kind of element to myself. Is really, I just need to clean up my own thinking, and then I can be present with other people, and then I can start to express myself in this world. Okay, so there's the formula that I use. I know I've used it a lot here, and I'm going to go through this again in a different little way here. So I'm moving this over. And then, okay, so here's that model, right? The CTFAR. And so C is circumstance. And when it comes to this is their words. So when we're talking about communication, it is their words. It's what they say. Now, when it comes to this is the thought we have. So how you see it. Whatever words they say, this is how you see it. You see their words. And then our results is our outcome. Right? This is our outcome. This is your outcome. It is your outcome from your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions is going to create your outcome. Now, keep in mind, your outcome is created by these, but not by this. Your circumstance has as much power as you choose to give it. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. If you are believing that thought and somebody says words to you, my thought is, I better not say anything because that wouldn't be nice. So then I feel maybe lonely, maybe unheard, maybe not valuable, unworthy of conversation. When I kind of stepped back and looked at this saying, I realized how much suppressed things we might be exploring in our lives, our children might be exploring in their lives because of the words of saying that. What are some other words we could tell ourselves when it comes to communication, when it comes to talking, is that my voice matters to me. To me, which means that it doesn't matter to the person I'm talking to. I'm not trying to make them change their mind. My voice matters for me to hear it. How I show up in the world reflects back on how I see myself. And my voice matters to me. It doesn't matter to anybody else. You can listen or not listen. When it starts to matter to you, it impacts your life. And when you believe something like, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, you are telling yourself that you're not worthy to say something, that you're a nicer person if you don't say anything, that you should take the high road, right? We even tell people it's taking the high road, as opposed to looking and stepping back and going, but how is this hurting me if I believe this? And maybe how do I want to move going forward? What do I want to communicate with people? I want to connect with people. That is, for me, that is like a core value of me, is relationships is a huge thing. It's one of my 3 core values. And so my top 3 core values, the big one is relationships. And that matters to me. So if I keep on going around believing that if I have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, I'm not connecting with people in my life. I'm just letting them say things, and I believe that's me being polite and just taking a higher road. But I'm never fully connecting with them. I'm never being part of their life. I'm not part of the conversation. I'm not being present with whatever's going on. I'm not sharing my point of view and listening to other people's point of view. So when we start and we step back and we can see how within the model work that I teach and I coach, that circumstance, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. Thoughts and below, these are all part of our outcome. So when we stop and we step back and go, how do I want to show up in the world? And one of the really key things I find is when I am working with clients is when we really get to the root of your core values. Now, this tool I use for that, there's other things I use as well. And that is something that I love to explore with my clients, because the more you understand your core values, the more you show up differently in your life, because you're wanting to align your life with your core values. Because then when you are living your core values, you're living your purpose and you never question it. Like sometimes we find ourselves always questioning, like, well, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What should I be doing? I need to be doing this instead. This is more purposeful. And we're doing that a lot because we're searching outside of ourselves instead of looking at our core beliefs and how those show up in our lives. And one thing I've found is that as I've explored deeper into my core beliefs is that I have found that there are some beliefs that I thought were, and I realized that that word was not my core belief. It was this word instead. And when I aligned that, things changed for me. My relationships changed. The way I showed up in the world changed. So those are some key things to keep in mind when you are creating what you want in this world, when you are starting to become who you believe you are. All right, my friends. So hopefully this was some good information, some things that you can kind of take to heart and just kind of explore for yourself. Ask yourself those questions. The ones I put is, who does this hurt when you don't say anything? Who's getting hurt when you don't say it? And what opportunity are you missing out on when you don't say anything? What are you missing? All right, my friends, take care of yourself. Until we see you again next time, we'll talk to you soon. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and get onto my email list so that you can make sure to see what's coming out here soon, coming down the pipeline. All right, my friends, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.